Royal Rebounds TV with Calvin and Barry. Just two crazy fans of the Sacramento Kings and they sharing their opinion. So be sure that you subscribe. It's for the fans, by the fans. Whether you chilling on the couch or wildin' in the stand. For laid back conversations about the Kings, subscribe here. Staying down until we come up thinking this gon' be our year. We're here, drinking beer, talking about the Kings. Be sure you subscribe so you can hear that bell ring, yeah.
What's up, Kings fans? Welcome back to Royal Rebounds, the Sacramento Kings YouTube channel for fans, by fans. Kings only lose by 17 points tonight to the Atlanta Hawks. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. No De'Aaron Fox. Terrence Davis is out with a wrist injury. I guess an MRI revealed some ligament damage. We get to see Davion Mitchell start. The Kings start out hot tonight, but they still lose.
Yeah, I was a little concerned in the first quarter thinking, what's going on here? Who is this team? And then 46 points in the second quarter. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Things are right now.
Not only did they allow 46 in the second quarter, they only scored 17. So you're not going to win a lot of games like that. But we're going to be right back with your Nightcap. All right, we're here, we're drinking beers, and we're talking about your Sacramento Kings. If you're a Kings fan, make sure you hit that like button down below, and if you enjoy awesome Kings content like this, consider subscribing, and don't forget to hit that notification cowbell as well. This is your Sacramento Kings Nightcap. So as I mentioned, Cal, Kings lose tonight 104-121 to the Atlanta Hawks in Atlanta. This is now 5 losses in a row for Sacramento. No De'Aaron Fox. Hopefully he'll be available by Saturday. But it looks like a downward spiral at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this team just doesn't – they give no effort. Like, I can only imagine what's going through their heads right now. I mean, they're not connected at all. They're not a team. They're just a bunch of guys out there on the court right now. Like I'm just so tired of watching players walk to the basket for layups.
Yeah,
that's all you see with this team.
Yep. Yeah, it's unfortunate. What's up, Fred? What's up, Mike? Kings Next Level, Brian, RP. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Charlie, I see you here in the chat. Gothan, Kristen, welcome, welcome, welcome. As you can see, our set is a total disaster. Peja went out drinking last night after the last loss. He hasn't even got up off the table. Bobby Jackson looks like he got in a collision with something. I don't know what. And everybody, it's just all effed up over here. Nobody's happy about these Kings losses. But hey, I have to say, at least they weren't down 60 in this game, Calvin, only 30.
You know, we talk so much about the Kings not trying on defense. You actually have to try to be down almost a combined 100 points in 2 games. You really have to try to do that.
What's up, Skip? What's up, Ramon? Skip, you want to join us for the next section? Text Calvin if you want to. We'd love to have you on the show. Sorry for interrupting.
No, I'm just saying, like, that I don't know how that's possible. How do you be down almost 100 points combined in 2 games? Like, I'm serious. It's an absolute joke, you know? Nobody expects them to win games or to be, you know, a really solid competitive team at this point, but if you're one of the players on this team, I don't know how you walk out onto the court and give that effort day in and day out. Like, that would just kill me inside.
The crazy thing is the Kings were up 14 in this game and down 30, and that's all in the first half. That's not even including the second half of basketball.
Yeah.
What a wild, emotional roller coaster. I saw Morgan Reagan after the game. They had like her emotions, And it was like a graph that was like, here it is after the first quarter. I'm really excited and happy, and I think everything's good. And then it just kind of goes like this and then drops off. And that's probably how the Kings players are feeling too. You know, I was watching this game and I'm like, man, they started out so hot in this game, which is great. But at the same time, I just feel like they lost their way. There's no teamwork. There's no pride. There's no confidence. You know, they're just going through the motions at this point. They just show up to the game. Yes, it is a back-to-back. Yes, they got worked yesterday really, really bad. But this 5 losses in a row, they're already a bad team. They're about to double up losses on wins on the season with a few more losses here. It's not looking good, Cal.
No, it looks horrible. It looks absolutely horrible. There's just no there's so few reasons to watch at this point.
Yeah, where you at, Skip? You're not at home? You crying somewhere? Do we need to come find you? Are you hidden somewhere you can't show your face? Because that's kind of how I feel right now. And Kristen, I don't cry myself to sleep, but maybe I'll try that tonight. Maybe that'll change something. I don't know. We have Philadelphia on Saturday. I heard Monty's on the trip. I heard Wes Wilcox is on the road trip. So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe a deal will happen. We've all talked about Kings, Sixers, trade discussions, months and months. They're playing each other on Saturday. GM, other front office staff is traveling with the team. Maybe they can work out a deal.
I hope so. That's really the only thing that I think this team can hope for at this point. I mean, I'm starting to wonder if Fox is going to say his ankle's sore for the rest of the season. I mean, why would he want to be back out there?
Yeah, it's a rough game, you know, for everybody. It really is. And you know, you got to give it to these guys. They go out there, they at least show up, not you know, not mentally, not, you know, in basketball skill, but physically they do. It's got to be embarrassing being on this team and just going out there and getting worked over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And, you know, I could only imagine, oh, you're a professional basketball player. What team do you play on? Sacramento Kings. Oh, okay. We heard about those guys. And it's really sad saying this because, you know, we want the Kings to do so well, but it's just not working right now. It's really not. And, you know, 64 bench points tonight for Atlanta, and the Kings didn't really do much. And on that note, Cal, you want to take a look at the box scores?
Yeah, again, cover your eyes. It's bad. It's not as bad as yesterday, though. Harrison Barnes had a pretty decent game. 28 points, 7 of 14 from the field, 9 rebounds. Davion Mitchell in the starting spot, 20 points, 6 assists. He was 8 of 17 from the floor, by far his best game in a long time. He actually shot well, 4 of 9 from 3. How about Harrison Barnes? 12 free throw attempts. The rest of the team took 7 free throw attempts combined for the rest of the team.
That's wild.
And again, the bench was nowhere to be found. You know, it was one of the keys to the game for me. As you mentioned, Atlanta's bench puts up 64 points. Their bench absolutely massacred Sacramento in both matchups this season. The Kings put together 24 points off of their own bench. I realize Davion is normally coming off the bench, but Buddy Hield, again, 3 of 12, 1 of 8 from 3, just 8 points. Kings allowed their opponent to shoot over 50% again because it's all layups and dunks, alley-oops, with no resistance. And
we got to see our old friend Bogdan tonight.
There we go again. Yeah, he looked great.
18 points off the bench.
The Kings.
18 big points. I want to know how you guys all feel in the chat now. I'm going to run a little poll. You know, should we have kept Bogdan and traded Buddy? You know, that was a discussion at a time. They seem to be basically the same player. I don't think you can say that anymore. And I want to hear from you guys. Should we have kept Bogey? Should we have traded Buddy? I don't even know if that would have made much of a difference at this point, honestly. But I'm going to put a poll here for you guys.
Yeah, and I don't know what's going on with Tyrese. He doesn't look like the same player to me. I think he must be having a rough time mentally right now with just how the losses piling up, how bad they are, how, for lack of a better word, embarrassed this team has been over the past couple of weeks. I think you can hear it in his voice when he talks.
You see him on the bench, dude, like
time.
With his hands on his head, he just looks so defeated.
Yeah.
He looks so defeated. And we saw a quote from him after the last game. I'm a Sacramento King. I'm going to do what I can to right the ship. We'll get it better. Mm-hmm. But what's the timeline on that? And how much of that is really his control, right? Like, even if Tyrese Haliburton had 30 and 10 last night and tonight, they probably still would have lost both of these games.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see him play a little bit better in these games. As you mentioned, only 11 points for him tonight and 7 assists. Not his best game by far, especially in 37 minutes, but it's a team game. It's a team sport. Maybe it's time to fire another coach. I don't know, Cal.
Well, the problem is, what is that going to do? I just that the players on this team need to change, I think, first and foremost, before there's a coaching change again. You just can't keep running this same group out there because this is going to be the result. Like, I don't know if they'll be down 60 points every day, but there's no battling back from this. Like, I think mentally everyone is just got to be destroyed at this point from a player's perspective. Yeah. I mean, I saw Davion Mitchell tonight give a pretty minimal effort on defense. So if that's happening, all bets are off. Like, everybody's just completely checked out.
I was excited to see him start tonight. I like Terrence Davis. I like De'Aaron Fox, but it was cool to see Davion have another chance to start. And, he played really well offensively. And the Kings started out really hot in that first quarter, and then it just kind of fell off. And as you mentioned, everybody, including him, seemed kind of disengaged, kind of, when's the game going to be over? Get me out of here. I watched Harrison Barnes' press conference after the game, and he's like, we need to figure this out. No one's going to pull us out of this. We need to pull ourselves out. But, when you're in the middle of this situation, it just becomes this downward spiral, and the weight keeps building on, and it's hard to pull yourself out of something when you're your own problem, right? Like, you are getting in your own way. You're in your own head. And you could tell it last night with the shots, right? Like, they were getting good shots last night. Mm-hmm. Last night was not on the coaching staff. I thought they ran good plays. I thought they took open shots. They just didn't make shots. And as you mentioned, it's just got to be so tough mentally, just exhausting, dealing with this over and over. And not only are you getting embarrassed on the court, but you're hearing all these trade rumors, off the court. And you have to do a press conference and have the media ask you all these questions after the game. I don't know what's worse, but, trade rumors are easier to deal with when you're at least competitive or winning games. But when your whole team gives up and you're getting smoked, the trade rumors have just got to be, like, even louder and louder.
Yeah, I think everything is probably louder and louder to some degree. And it's why – this team is so fragile. Like, they can fall apart at the drop of a hat. They were up, 33-21 at the end of the first quarter? And that was the best quarter they've played in I don't even know how long. Yeah. But then it was gone almost immediately. Like, one turnover, one missed shot, one, alley-oop dunk from the other team. And everything that you've built, all the momentum, all the energy that you've built for that, even though it was only a quarter, but for those 12 minutes, is gone immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, I know they were talking about during the halftime show that, the Kings need to find who that verbal leader is going to be, who's going to be the guy. Matt Barnes was talking about it. They need a guy that's upset, that's yelling at guys. Who's going to get in people's faces? Who's going to be that guy? We've seen Mo Harkless get mad. We've seen him yell at mainly Buddy Hield. But 20 minutes tonight for Mo Harkless off the bench. He hasn't played this much in a while. Only 5 points for him. And they don't have it. They don't have it.
They don't have it. And And there's also a difference, it's good to have that person on your team, but even the best of leaders, or the guy that everybody would rally around the most, if the team knows that group of guys together just isn't that good of a team, then yelling and trying to fire people up and all that stuff, you can only do so much at that point. That stuff only works when you've got a team that knows they are good enough to compete every night out there. And we all agree that this Kings roster has talent on it.
Yeah.
But it's obvious that these guys, the team that is put together is not good enough to compete with the majority of the NBA on a nightly basis. And as the big losses pile up more and more and more, you start to realize that more and more and more. So no matter how much a coach gets in your face and yells at you, or a player tells you, hey, we've got to buckle down and play defense this one possession, we just got to get one stop.
Yep.
It becomes exponentially harder and harder for people to believe that. And then you get games like these past two, where everyone is out there just walking through the motions, and they're waiting until the final buzzer sounds.
And that makes it even harder on Monty, right? Because all the other GMs know he has to make a move. They know he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. So that makes his job tougher as well. And all of us are screaming, let's do something, make a trade, do something. Dab Rab, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Jeff, welcome. It's all good that you're late. No worries. We're not going to write you up or anything. Charlie has an interesting comment here. Kings winning percentage with Fox, 40.5%. Kings winning percentage in the last 52 games De'Aaron Fox has missed, 42.35%. All I see from this is the Kings suck no matter whether they have Fox or not.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes back to what we were talking about a couple days ago with, still continuing this conversation of who's better to keep for the Kings, Fox or Haliburton. And at the end of the day, it's not either one of these guys. They need so much more around both of them.
Yeah.
The team is so far away from being, what most people would consider a good team. It's not all on the shoulders of De'Aaron or Tyrese. They need so much more help.
And the crazy thing about it is horrible as they are, they're 2 wins away from that 10th seed.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's wild. That's wild to think about.
They won't be for very long if they keep playing like this. I guarantee you that.
The West is bad this year, man. They're just bad. They're just bad. Always Smile in the Sun says, I have a question though. What was the breaking point? Why the sudden change in body language, performance, just everything? What happened? Was it just trade rumors or something else?
I think it was when the team went through the whole COVID protocol, and they had, half their players were out.
Yeah.
They were already struggling at that point record-wise. They had gone through a coaching change. They were switching lineups constantly. But at least, you still saw a little bit of effort from the team when they played. Mm-hmm. Then you go through that stretch where you don't have so many guys. You lose a ton of games. Now you're trying to get Richaun Holmes back acclimated into the lineup. It's been a real rough go for him with all the games that he's missed from injury and from COVID protocols. And I just feel like the team has never really recovered from that 4 or 5 game stretch. So now you look up and the mountain just got 10 times taller.
Yep.
And you're trying to play catch up through all the trade rumors, which have now been amplified because we're getting so close to the trade deadline. So it's like somebody just threw another huge weight on top of you.
Yep. What's up, too? Good to see you. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you look back to the start of the season. This team's riding high. They came off a summer league champion. I know that's not the majority of the guys that play on this team, but, they played well. I think they split this the preseason. Start off really, really hot. Harrison Barnes is playing incredible. And they're like, oh, hey, we belong. We can compete. We can actually win some of these games, and we can beat some of these teams. And then it just kind of slowly fell off to where it was like, okay, now we're the underdogs. We're like dodgeball, right? We're the underdogs, but there's still a chance. If we play hard, if we try hard, we can win a game. And then they just lost more and more. And then, as you mentioned, COVID just decimated the roster to where there's like, I don't even know half the people out on the court. And then, you know, getting guys back in and out of the lineup. SNL's making fun of the Kings. And just at this point, it just seems like they don't believe in themselves.
Yeah.
That, for me, is the main
and
difference.
the history of everything, you know, it's 15 years since the team made a playoff appearance and all that stuff. And when you're a young player, you know, you can use the excuse of, well, you know, I didn't grow up in Sacramento, or I haven't been alive for, you know, that many, or I haven't been watching basketball for that long, so I don't really pay attention to the fact that it's been 15 years or whatever. But that feeling only lasts for a little while in the beginning of a season. Like you said, when there's, you know, renewed optimism and you come in with a fresh start and a clean slate and all this stuff, and everybody's thinking, okay, this is the year. This is we're going to break through. We're going to crack that playoff bracket. And we're going to be the team that makes everybody, you know, all the fans forget about all that pain and suffering for all that time. But as you start to lose and get into a season, you just start to hear that more and more and more, and you can't escape it. So it, again, just like the trade rumors and stuff, all that becomes amplified with every loss and every performance like this. You know, it'd be one thing if the Kings were losing nail biters every day. And we're all sitting here like, man, they're so close.
Yep.
They just keep catching these heartbreak scenarios, but that's not the case. They've just continued to let the losses pile up, and mentally now they're totally gone. They're totally out of it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. What's up, Robin? Good to see you, man. Thank you for the support. I'll see you in Vegas in March. It should be a pretty good time. Stop it. Why are the Kings an NBA franchise? The Kings are actually the oldest franchise in the NBA. Started out in Rochester as the Rochester Seagrams, Rochester Royals, moved around, Kansas City, Omaha, Sacramento. But, you know, don't get too caught up in this. Will the G League Ignite beat the Kings? We heard about this when Philadelphia was going through their problems, whether a college team could beat the Sixers. You know, it sounds good when you say it, but these guys are professionals. The Kings would work any G League team, but they're not good against NBA teams. Not right now.
No, they're not very good against NBA teams.
Not right now. And speaking of G Leagues, Keita only got 4 minutes tonight. I was excited, dude. I saw him get 8 minutes last night. I like what I saw, and I'm like, well, if the Kings are playing bad, you know, I want to see him play more. And Katie agrees with me. I saw her during the game. She was talking about, you know, I would like to see some more of these young guys play. You know, we know what the old guys can do. The Kings are obviously not competitive at this point. Let's see what some of these young guys can do. Keita was the best defensive player in his conference. He's been playing great in the G League. Let's give him a shot. Why only 4 minutes for him tonight?
I agree. I'm really dumbfounded, to be honest with you. This team has given up 120 points in the paint in 2 straight games on back-to-back days. 120 points in the paint. And they've got a guy on the bench who was, like you said, Conference Defensive Player of the Year, averaged over 3 blocks a game, I think, I don't know if that was for his entire career or just last season. I'd have to go back and look. But regardless, he's supposed to be a really good rim protector. You got a team that just lets people play, you know, they play matador defense and let them walk right to the rim. Why not stick somebody back there who could maybe block a few shots? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me at all. But
yeah, and as you mentioned, just points in the paint are brutal. 46 tonight for Sacramento, 64 for Atlanta. And, you know, I feel like most of these points in the paint for Sacramento were either early on in the first quarter or after Atlanta was already like, we got this in the bag.
Yes, a lot of them, I think, were in the first quarter.
I mean, turnovers are not bad. 12 turnovers tonight. You know, only 6 steals. I'd like to see more than that. 23 assists, 4 blocks. You know, it's just it's no pride. It's no It's no confidence in yourself. It's no confidence in the team. this team is not playing for anything at this point. And I don't blame them. I mean, we talked about it last night. We'll talk about it a little bit more in the second section about tanking, about trading for another guy, what that means. But I think it's safe to say, Calvin, that, this Kings team is not making the playoffs this season. Whatever happens in the next 2 weeks, they could bring in LeBron James and Bradley Beal. They're probably still going to miss the playoffs. It's just change needs to happen. It doesn't happen overnight. We're all screaming for a trade. But in the meantime, we're just going to keep having to see these losses pile up through the rest of the year.
Yeah, unless something dramatic happens here, we're all just sitting and waiting at this point.
Charlie wants to change the team name. The Sacramento Oaks? I have not heard that. That'd be pretty funny though. There you go, Dab Rab, Sacramento Skunks. Calvin and Skip have been calling them the Sacramento basketball team, and I actually like that. I think that's great. But Washington's unveiling a team name pretty soon, right? And a mascot and everything.
I think
they gave up on their pursuit of just keeping no name.
Well, I don't know. They say that the plan was to all along be changing. This is just an interim name. I don't know. It's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day.
What's up, Sass? I didn't see you here. I'm glad to see you. It's been a while. But he should be playing for being traded since he wants out of SAC so badly. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of these people should be playing this way. But, as they were talking about during the game, if you're a GM and you look at a team like Sacramento, you look at these guys that are underperforming, it doesn't matter how bad Harrison Barnes plays. You know what you're going to get from Harrison Barnes. And if you make a deal, you can say, well, this is what he's doing in Sacramento, but we're confident he's going to play like this for us. I don't know if you could say the same for Buddy Hield, but any team that's going after Buddy Hield, they know he can shoot the three, and that's why they're targeting him, is because he can shoot the three. So for me, it doesn't really matter how he plays here in Sacramento in the next week and a half. Obviously, I want him to play better, and it would probably boost his trade value, but anybody that's making a deal with Sacramento right now is looking for a discount, and they're just targeting guys. Buddy for his shooting. Harrison Barnes is like a guy to help push us over the hump for the playoffs. But they're not helping their case, Calvin.
No, they're not helping their case, and really, to me, the only teams that are going to be willing to trade for any of these players are contending teams that are looking for that last little piece of the puzzle to complete, what they think could be a championship run type team. I mean, it's going to be teams like, teams in the top 8 of the league, basically. All these other teams, they're kind of either in the same boat as Sacramento that they need so much help. They're not going to waste their time trading for any of these guys because they're not going to be the ones that push them over the top. And,
it's a crapshoot.
Draft pick swap. Basically.
It's a crapshoot. What's up, Kyle? Good to see you here. I love the Kings too. I think everybody in the chat here loves the Kings, and that's what's so frustrating, right? It's like seeing like a friend or a significant other or a family member going through just the worst time ever, and you're like, you're not doing good right now. I still love you, but you're effing up here and here and here, and I don't like watching you do your thing or play your games, but I'm still going to support you. And that's basically where I'm at with Sacramento.
Yeah, I think that's where we're all at, right? I mean, it's like we're watching, the TV like this, where we're covering our eyes, but we can't not watch, because we still care about the team and we want them to win. It's just hard to watch right now.
If the Royal Rumble wasn't this weekend, I'd be very sad with the current Kings situation, LOL. In all seriousness, I know I sound like a broken record, but we just need an alpha so effing bad. Yeah, we do. I didn't know the Royal Rumble was this weekend. That's pretty cool. I haven't really been paying much attention to wrestling. I was a huge wrestling fan when I was a kid, and actually my dad took me to my first and only wrestling match at Arco Arena on my 13th birthday. It was awesome. I saw Rush Hour in the theater. I think it was Rush Hour 2 in the theater. And then we went to a wrestling match at Arco Arena afterwards, and it was so cool. It was like Vince McMahon and Kurt Angle were getting into it. Kurt Angle comes up with a milk truck, and he's got a hose, and he's spraying milk at everybody in the arena, and it's like knocking off everybody and going into the crowd. I was so happy I was on the second level, and I didn't get doused in milk, but I had a good time. I just haven't watched wrestling in a while. But interesting to know, Royal Rumble. Maybe we should just throw all the Kings players in the ring and let them fight it out, huh?
Yeah. We're having tryouts, right? Break the pool cue.
That's a good Joker quote there. Monticello said he saw the Royal Rumble as a kid at Arco Arena. That's cool. Hey, I want to remind you guys that Calvin and I will be in Sacramento attending 2 Kings games next month, the 8th and the 9th, back-to-back against the Minnesota Timberwolves. We will be live at the game, having fun. We'll still be doing our post-game, so make sure you join us for that. But if you are able to make the game, come have a beer with us. We'll be up on the 3rd level enjoying a Proud Ale. We'll just be, cruising throughout the arena and having a good time, and we'd love to see you all. Bring back Ben Wallace. Yeah, I like Ben. Ben Wallace is actually one of my favorite players of all time. Just ultimate guy that just went above and beyond of like, no one believes in me, but I can make it. I believe in myself. And just awesome player, man.
Great player.
Very limited player.
He'd probably still be able to help this team right now, today.
Yeah, and the thing is like Ben Wallace is such a limited player, which in my mind makes him even more amazing of how good he was at the things that he did do well, that he was able to have that big of an impact.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know.
Same with Dennis Rodman.
Flashy, but
Same with Dennis Rodman.
You can be great at a lot of things, or things that don't involve dribbling and shooting, and be a great basketball player. Only undrafted player in the Hall of Fame ever.
Wink, wink, play for a draft pick, don't tank. All right, Calvin. You want to talk about this game anymore, or should we move on here?
Man, no, I need Will Smith to come in and deneuralize me for the past 2 games. Like I don't want to remember anything from these 2 games.
I mean, it's not even these games. You look back here, the last Kings victory was against the Houston Rockets. Then we lost to the Rockets by 6, lost to the Pistons by 2 of the worst teams in the league. Then you go play the Bucks without their best player, lose by 6, which I was happy they were competitive and they were in that game, but it's still a loss. Then you just get worked by the Celtics, down by 60 at one point. Get worked again tonight, down by 30 at one point. I need a deneuralizer for like the last 30 games, maybe more.
Yeah. Last 15 years, I guess. Why stop there,
Oh, man. This is crazy. All right, guys. Well, we are done talking about this loss. Just stay tuned with us. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to dive deeper into the Kings.